Hey Paul, how you doing today?
Doing great.
Good. So I understand. So the water flows are a little bit higher than average right now. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and how would you adjust your tactics and what you would be doing on high water days like today?
Yeah, right now, so the flows are about 359. There's somewhere in there, so that's a really big push of water. Basically, when you're approaching the water, I mean, when you've got a good high flow, you're really just looking for all the soft little spots. You're looking for the soft water. You're looking for, along the edges. So the fish will either be pushed sometimes to the edges where it's a little slower, or they're going to be really like congregated to softer points in the water. So you look for those little, even those rushing water, you're going to look for a little pocket and you're going to target those pockets. Now with the higher flows, of course, you've got to work with your gear. You've got to get your flies down. So sometimes people do split shot. I like to start with just heavier flies, having a good big point fly and then a smaller fly, but just keep changing it up until you really see that you're getting down, you're ticking bottom, and that's how you're going to work it. Don't be afraid to keep adjusting things. We've noticed today, I mean, it's about presentation. So it's about getting those flies, whatever your flies you're using, getting them to the fish. So if you can adjust, get them deeper, I think you're going to do really well. And just, be careful. Weight staffs are good. Great to have studs in the boots when you got this kind of weather, water, and you just want to be careful with it. But you can approach it, and a lot of the places too, you can walk along the edges and you don't even have to get in very much. If you see a nice run along the bank, work it out. We've pulled some brook trout before right off the edges because they've tucked in. So just take your time, be methodical. That's the way I go about it.
And so what would be some of the flies that you'd be using?
Some of my go-tos, anything with a tungsten bead is going to be really good for you. So I like to usually have a bigger point fly, kind of in a, it's one of my little attractor patterns, whether it's a Pat's rubber legs, a stone fly pattern. I've been using a double beaded stone, and that's really been about weight, but we've caught some fish on it today. You can throw some of the junk flies too, but it's, some of those worms and mop flies, because they have so much material, the water will really, will take them along a little faster and you don't get to punch down. So some of those Perdigons, those epoxy flies that just don't, they can just drop through, those are the ones I like to use just to get down. And then if you have to, do some split shot. But, the more you start throwing on, sometimes the more complicated it can get. So I like to keep it as simple as I can with heavy flies and then adjust.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you said that the water is at 350, 359. So
yeah.
What is it normally?
Would be about this time of year. We should be looking, I'd say, be looking around 150 to maybe to 200, depending on the weather. But 150 tends to be closer to those average summer flows. So, we've got, 200, CFS more than usual. But the great thing about it when it's like this, if you're willing to get in, these fish, they've got more territory. They're kind of fresh. So if you do it right, you can really hook into a bunch of fish. But you got to cover territory too. You're going to walk by a lot of water you usually fish just because of the flows, but then you're going to find some of those, again, those softer pockets where you can start finding fish. So don't be afraid to hike, move. Be careful when you're wading. Never wade anything that you're uncomfortable with, though. That's what I say. And if you have a couple, even better to go out with a couple people. 2 people working together across the stream is a really good way to go about it. So if you're alone, don't push it. But if you got a couple, then work together and you can get to some really cool water.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Paul, and good luck today. And I know you've already got a few fish in the net, so
Absolutely.
I hope that continues.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thank you.